And to suck with curiosity. Lots of rubbish has been written on innovation, such as why should not give up, how fortune favors the brave, since braveness is the is in short supply in this post industrialization era. That smart work is better than hard work. Only the persistent win, and many such good ideas. I have only I have finally come across an antidote to all that BS in Safi Bakal's extant book Lone Swords. Using two stories, one long and one short, I'll introduce you to a framework that explains the relationship between persistent and stubbornness, stubbornness and the difference between false fails and true fails. Let's crack on. Since the 1960s, the rate of heart attack have decreased by 75%. Lifestyle changes, diets, exercise, the decline in smoking are responsible for some of those gains. The remainder is due to a drug isolated from a blue-green mold found in a grain store in Tokyo by a Japanese mushroom aficionado and microbiologist. This is the story of that drug. In 1966, Akira Endo, a scientist from the food processing division at the Japanese conglomerate Sankyo, read a study that compared the rate of heart disease between Japanese men living in Japan and those who have moved to Hawaii. The Hawaiian Japanese who ate a Western diet had a much higher level of cholesterol and heart disease than those who had stayed in Japan. Endo realized as Japan became more westernized, heart disease would become more common. He was determined to find a drug that lowered cholesterol. Endo turned to fungi, molds, and mushrooms. Mushrooms can't hop away from predators. So, to defend themselves, fungi have evolved many ways to kill bacteria and knew that many bacteria require cholesterol to survive. Could fungi secrete a chemical that kills their predators by blocking their cholesterol? Within a couple of years, Endo had tested over 6,000 species when one fine day he found a blue-green mold that blocked the key enzyme needed to make cholesterol. The mold was Penicillium citrinum, the same genome, genes that produce penicillin but a different species. Within a year, Endo extracted the molecule that lowered cholesterol. He called it ML236B. The drug is now known as Mavastatin. It is the seed, the original from which sprang Lipitor, Jacor, Crestor, and all other statins. These statins would grow into the most widely prescribed drug franchises in history, saving millions of lives. But first, Endo's drug had to survive three big failures. In those days, trials evaluating drugs that lowered cholesterol were failing. Three of the most widely studied drugs were found to increase the overall death rate is trial. Another clearly caused cataracts. Since normal cell function requires cholesterol, scientists believed any drug that lowered cholesterol must be dangerous because it would interrupt normal cell functions. Endo presented his promising results for Mavastatin at a conference. Almost no one came to hear his talk. He left dejected. Failure 1. But Endo pushes on and with the support of his superiors at Sankyo, Mavastatin soon reached a crucial stage. Testing in live animals with great excitement, his team gave the drug to rats and saw Nothing. Change. No cholesterol lowering. In the world of drug discovery, failure in standard animal studies always kills a project. With no result, there was no hope of persuading biologists at Sankyo to continue evaluating the drug. Failure 2. All hope was lost when at a bar near his lab, Endo ran into a colleague from a different department who worked with chickens. It occurred to Endo that hens might have high blood cholesterol since their eggs have so much of it. Higher starting levels of cholesterol would make the effect of his drug easier to detect. He began without formal approvals. The results were spectacular. Mavastatin decreased cholesterol by nearly half with no ill effect. Scientists later learned that rats have mostly SDL, good cholesterol, and very little LDL, the bad cholesterol, that contribute to heart disease, which means that the rats are a poor choice for evaluating statins, which lower just the LDL. Chickens have both types like humans. Word spread after the test was after the test was successful. Endo soon received a call about an 18-year-old girl with severe hypercholesterolemia (FH), a rare genetic condition in which the body cannot pump cholesterol out of the blood, resulting in cholesterol levels to rise to 2 to 10 times normal levels. Her condition was serious. Endo decided his drug was ready for the trial. 2 weeks into the trial, Endo got a call at midnight. Her cholesterol had dropped by 30%. The drug worked. The trial succeeded, and the drug became the first big hope for the patient with dangerously high cholesterol. Sankyo launched a large study. Endo retired from Sankyo, satisfied that his drug project was secured. The enthusiasm, however, was short lived. 3 months later, results from a safety study suggested that doses of mavastatin caused the cancers in dogs. Sankyo had enough. The company stopped the mavastatin research. Rumors about the cancer side effect spread quickly. Other companies and research centers terminated their statin research as well. Although Endo suspected the dog study was flagged, he could only watch from a distance as his program collapsed. That might have been the end of the statins, except for a surprising discovery from a parallel research program. 2 years earlier, the pharma giant Merck had also initiated a screen of fungi, had also discovered an inhibitor of the same enzyme that Endo discovered, and had also found that it worked well in lowering cholesterol. But Merck's company was very similar to Sankyo's, a difference of only 4 atoms. So they terminated the program following Sankyo's, fearing it was a dead end. But it was later found that high doses of mavastatin used in dogs led to a harmless condition that looked like cancer but was not false positive. Mark Becken Mark began new safety studies again. After those studies showed no hints of the drug causing cancers in dogs, Merck began large clinical trials required by the FDA. The results were strikingly positive, and FDA advisory panel unanimously recommended approving the first statins, Merck's Mavacor. Mavacor and its successor Jacor became the most successful drugs in Merck's history. Cumulative sales of Merck's statin franchise have exceeded 90 billion. Cumulative sales from all statins have exceeded 300 billion. Endo's story is more than a wild anecdote. The twisted paths leading to great discoveries are the rules rather than the expectation. The negative result in the rat experiment was a false fail, a result mistakenly attributed to the innovation but actually a flaw in the test. Sankyo persisted through that fail, but it gave up at the next false fail. After Endo had left, the surprisers, the spurious results in dogs. Fail 3. The company handed its share of 300 billion to Merck on a platter. There are many reasons. Projects die, funding dwindles, a competitor wins, the market changes, a key person leaves, but the false fail is common in all breakthroughs, both in science and in business.